Hi, my name is Valerie Johnson. I am a physical therapist and founder of Balance Therapy here in Fort Worth. I specialize in treating dizziness and balance and also Parkinson's disease. So if you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up, make a comment, tell us where you're listening in from, and say hello. Also, I want you to meet Dr. Allison Geimer.
Hi guys, I'm Allison. I also have my own practice, mainly in the North Fort Worth, Mid-Cities area, treating Parkinson's. I'm also the owner and head coach of Rocksteady Boxing DFW. If any of my clients are here, tell us hello. Valerie, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, we're going to be talking about the benefits of exercise. So exercise is actually at the forefront of treatment for Parkinson's alongside medication. So there are many benefits to exercise. If you're interested in reducing your symptoms, being able to move more easily, reducing your falls, and slowing the progression of your disease, then exercise is going to help you do that, and you've come to the right broadcast. So thank you for being here, and let us know if you have any questions along the way. We will address them at the end. All right, so exercise, if you wanted to think of it as medicine, you could. It has many benefits, and it protects your brain, so it protects your old neurons, and it helps you grow new ones. So you're literally changing the physiology of your brain through exercise. What happens is the old way of movement, the pathway in your brain, it's just not working anymore. It's gotten tired. So you've got to establish a new way of moving and a new pathway in your brain that makes movement easier. The exercise is the only thing that can actually slow the progression of the disease. So medication it treats symptoms, and that's important. But people who exercise regularly are on less medication. Also, studies show that people who exercise and take medication have better outcomes than people who just take medication alone. All right, so the other benefit of exercise is that it suppresses symptoms, both motor and non-motor symptoms. So motor symptoms that decrease with exercise include slow movements, bradykinesia, rigidity, stiffness, and tremor. And non-motor symptoms that can be managed with exercise include constipation, stress management, anxiety, depression. Also can help improve the quality of your sleep. All of these are very, very common among Parkinson's people. All right, so with these very specific exercises that we're going to tell you about, there are specific Parkinson's exercises and therapies that are aimed at treating your specific symptoms. So I want to tell you some of the goals and what you should be getting out of your exercise program as you get better, all right? So the first thing is being able to cue internally, all right? So what that means is over the course of several years, without your knowledge, your brain has been slowly taking away your ability to perceive your own movements. You're not as good at monitoring your own body movements, and your body and spatial awareness decreases. So you really have to kind of relearn what normal movement feels like and how to know if you're moving adequately enough. That's one of the things that you're just going to have to kind of relearn how to do. The timing of movement improves with exercise. So things like swinging your arms and taking steps at the same time can get better with practice and with exercise. I don't know if you ever feel uncoordinated, but exercise can help with coordination for Parkinson's. Posture is a really big one. A lot of the exercises that we do are aimed at improving your posture. You see, with Parkinson's disease, your flexors, the muscles in the front of your body, get tight and they overpower your extensors. Your extensors are meant to hold you upright against gravity. So as you get tighter and stronger in your flexors, your extensors get overstretched and weak, and functionally that's significant because it shifts your weight forward. All right, so now your center of gravity is shifted forward, and to compensate for that, you bend your knees. You kind of squat down. This is a problem because it makes it harder to balance, and it makes it hard for you to take big big enough steps if your hips are way back there. So we work a lot on posture. Weight shifting. I know Parkinson's is known as a movement disorder, but if you wanted to think of it as a weight shifting disorder, you could. It takes away your ability to effectively weight shift. If we can't shift weight, we cannot move. So a lot of the exercises force you to shift weight, and relearn how to do that. Spine mobility. So, rigidity, stiffness, very common symptom. It's hard to move with a stiff spine. So a lot of the movements and therapies that we do are aimed at unraveling the stiff trunk that you have. A lot of twisting, stretching motions that we do. Transitional movements become difficult with Parkinson's, so you practice those. This is a skill. Things like stooping and reaching for something off of the floor, getting out of a chair, getting in and out of bed. Okay, these are skills. You learned how to do them once, and you're going to kind of relearn how to do them in therapy and through these exercises. It comes down to being flexible and being able to shift weight properly. All right, so the 6 exercise essentials that we're going to talk about today are going to start right now. So the first one, timing matters. Timing matters. What that means is the sooner you start exercising, the better. All right, hopefully at diagnosis, but it's not too late. All right, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. Secondly, it needs to be physically challenging. In 2 ways, you really want to focus on challenging yourself physically. One of those is aerobic conditioning, all right? You got to get your heart rate up. The other one is challenging your skill set. We'll talk about why in a minute. All right, it's got to be mentally challenging. You want to be very in tune with what you're doing while you're exercising. It's important that you're mentally engaged with the activities that you're doing. All right, you want to exercise in an enriched environment. What that means is you want to be having positive interactions with your environment and also with others. It needs to be fun and social. You want to have camaraderie and support. All right, the reason for this is because your brain learns better under these conditions. All right, it's a lifelong commitment. If you have Parkinson's, you want a best management, you manage it, you really have to realize that your commitment to exercise is for life. So you're going to be exercising for the rest of your life. Open-mindedness. I like to warn people about this really, because a lot of these movements and therapies that we do are meant to bring you out of your comfort zone, movement-wise. So you're going to feel kind of ridiculous at times and silly. It's going to feel strange. You're going to feel like, I haven't moved like this in a really long time. All of that is good. I know that if you're feeling these things, we're getting your brain's attention, and that's where the magic happens. Okay, so at the time of diagnosis, studies show that people with Parkinson's have already begun to withdraw from their recreational activities, their leisure activities. They're just more sedentary. Some of this might have to do with just age-related changes. Some of it has to do with Parkinson's symptoms and whatever else. But it's good to be aware of, and hopefully at diagnosis you were told to start exercising. But if you're just now finding out, that's okay too. All right.
It's never too late.
Right. Let's talk about that, actually. So the people who did start exercising sooner, it was important because they still had more dopamine neurons intact. And by exercising, they were able to protect those neurons and keep them around longer. All right. But it also they were also able to make their brains work more efficiently. So the dopamine neurons that were kind of holding on for dear life, they were able to work more efficiently, and kind of, the damaged circuits were suddenly working more efficiently, and their brain actually grew new receptors. So that little dopamine that you have left in there, your brain is just drinking it up better. So your brain is working more efficiently. All right, but the people who started exercising later in life, they still saw the benefits of exercise, like symptom reduction and everything we've talked about. It's just that it took them a little bit longer to see those benefits. So be patient with yourself. Also, older exercisers or later exercisers, they just had generally healthier brains. Their brains had less inflammation, less oxidative stress. They basically, their brains, they slowed the aging of their brain. And if you're going to be combating something like Parkinson's, you want to have as healthy of a brain baseline as possible. All right, so with physically challenging, in a nutshell, both aerobic and skill training, you've got to be challenging yourself. If it isn't challenging you, we like to say it isn't changing you. You have to give your brain a reason to change. If you're just sitting on the bike, thinking about all the dry cleaning you need to do and getting on autopilot, you're not going to get any better. Your brain already knows how to do that, and it's getting tired of it. Okay, we got to get your brain's attention, and we got to demand more of your body. Okay. You really, the key is that you push beyond your self-selected pace and intensity. You've got to push harder, work faster, bigger than you would prefer. It's hard to do alone, which we'll talk about. Okay, progressive aerobic exercise, a little bit more about this. I just want to tell you, it helps to know why it's good for you. If you're going to be working this hard, it's motivating to know why you're doing it. All right, what it does is it actually lights up the part of your brain that is responsible for working memory and attention. These are the parts of your brain that allow you to learn new skills and see them through. So it's a beautiful marriage between aerobic exercise and skills training, because now the brain, thanks to your aerobic exercise, is primed and ready to learn new skills. All right, skill acquisition. Okay, again, relearning what normal movement feels like. You've lost that ability to self-monitor your movements. You need to practice the skills that you don't want to lose. You may have noticed it's not as easy to get out of bed as it used to be. It's not as easy to get up out of a chair. You learned how to do this once in life. You kind of have to learn how to do it again. I describe it, and it's like we choreograph ways of getting out of bed. So you're using a different pathway in the brain to create the same movement, and it takes some finesse, but it can be done. So things like walking, getting in and out of bed in chairs, these are skills. This is the skills training is really where we're changing the wiring of your brain, changing your brain physiology. All right, so it's hard to do these things by yourself, okay? So it really helps to establish some kind of support team and some sort of feedback mechanism. When you're first getting started, it helps to have somebody with some trained eyes to look at you and tell you, no, this is how you're moving, this is where you need to improve. Because you don't really know without that feedback. That external cue. Video feedback is also very useful. I've seen people set up video cameras of them running on the treadmill. I use video a lot in therapy. I show people how they're moving, and it almost always blows their mind. You'll be surprised if you see yourself move on video. If you're having trouble with your voice, have you ever listened to a recording of your voice? It might surprise you what you hear. All right? So I swear, like, gaining that awareness is 90% of the battle. You want to personalize your exercise program. They say if you've worked with one person with Parkinson's, you've worked with one person with Parkinson's. Everybody has their individual challenges and has different skill needs. So your therapist can help you identify, where you need to focus. I like to use treadmills as an example. Treadmills are brilliant for Parkinson's disease. What you do is you get on the treadmill and you set the speed up a little bit higher than you would like, okay? So then you just keep going. You're going to have to keep chasing after the treadmill. You have to keep up with it. You don't get to, slow down and go to a preferred speed that won't change your brain. All right, so when we're talking about an enriched environment, this is where, you've got to get creative. It's great if whatever exercise you choose is meaningful to you in some way. If it's a creative outlet, that's great. If it's socially stimulating, that's great. Having a supportive, group around you, a supportive trainer or coach, somebody, cheering you on and cueing you. All good things. Also, novel activities are really good for your brain, something that you don't do every day. One example is to, dance around with big dancing movements with a juggling scarf. Drumming on the physio ball with, what do you call those things?
Boom whackers.
Boom whackers. Dancing is a wonderful creative outlet for people, and boxing is too, as we know from Allison. So you can also use music. What it does is it promotes brain health, and your brain learns better under these conditions. All right, it's important that your exercise is mentally engaging, challenging. Sometimes therapists will have people count backwards while they exercise or while they're trying to do a task. That would make me hate exercising, and I'd be less likely to do that. I think it's my favorite way to engage people is to have them think about what they're doing. It's got to be kind of a mind-body experience. You're choosing to move exactly the way you want to be moving. You're pushing yourself to move. You're very present in this activity. Okay, so you might be wondering, how much exercise do I really need to get? Well, research suggests that if you want to significantly reduce your symptoms, you want to exercise at least 2.5 hours a week, or about 20 minutes a day. Okay, so just find a team, maximize your medications, maximize your nutrition, check in with your mental health, make sure that you're just on top of your game if you're going to be, taking back control of this condition. Exercising every day can help with these things as well, and just stay educated and empowered. If you're here today for this lecture, then you're one of those people that's getting educated, and that's great. Okay, I'm going to let Allison tell you more about what resources are out in the community for you. Okay, let me give you this.
All right, so thanks, Valerie. Very, very useful information. What you might be asking is, how do I know where I should go with exercise? Where do I get started? And the recommendation these days is, as soon as you're diagnosed, you should get set up with a physical therapist. They will then do a movement analysis, and they are best able to determine if you need one-on-one therapy to start. How would I know, what would lead them to think that you need one-on-one assistance right now? If you're having significant balance challenges, if you are having a lot of trouble standing up from a chair, if just moving around the house is super difficult, if you're needing assistance of another person to help you with those things, those are probably pretty good indications that you should start with a physical therapist, so they can get you moving a little bit more independently. They can recommend any assistive devices to help you move a little bit easier around the house, and get you safe and to a point where you can then go and engage in some of these group exercise activities. Where do I find a physical therapist? There are, if you're going to see a physical therapist, I would see one that has extensive training in Parkinson's, which is not going to be just any physical therapist. You can look up, what is the LSVT website? I think lsvtglobal.com.
.net.
Valerie says .net. lsvtglobal.net. Try .net or .com, but it is LSVT Global. That is the creator of the BIG program, which is the big name therapy for people with Parkinson's. And they have a list of all the therapists in your area that are certified in that technique. It's pretty intensive. It's a 4-week protocol. They really want you to come 4 times a week for 4 weeks. But if you haven't had any therapy and you're having quite a bit of difficulty moving around, it's an excellent place to start. Okay. The other way to find a therapist in your area that is knowledgeable in Parkinson's is a power certified therapist, and you can look them up on the website too. What is their website?
I think it's powerforlife.com.
That sounds right. If you Google power, and when we say power, it's PWR, acronym PWR for life, or power for Parkinson's. If you Google that, you will pull up their website, and they will have a list of power certified therapists in your area. Power is an extension of the BIG program. It is less of a strict protocol, and both of these therapies emphasize big, fast, large amplitude movements, which is what we're lacking typically when we have Parkinson's, and that you may not even realize. So it really primes that system to start moving bigger, faster, in a more normal fashion. So after that, once you're dismissed or discharged from therapy, I would recommend that you follow up with them at least once every 6 months. Just like you're going to follow up with your neurologist, you want that therapist to make sure that you are not regressing in your mobility. And you may think, I'm fine, but sometimes it's easier for others to see that than it is in ourselves. So, all right, you're done with therapy, and you don't have to wait till you're done with therapy, but or you don't need a therapist. They see you, they say you're independent, you look awesome on all of our standard mobility tests. Then I would recommend definitely starting a regular exercise program. So you have options for that. Again, you can do it on your own, but if you're just getting started, particularly if you've never really been that much into exercise, I would get somebody to help you out getting started. So that could be a trainer, and I wouldn't go to just any trainer. I would find somebody, one that's certified for sure, but that has at least some experience with a neurological population or an older population, so that they know what to look for specific to your issues. They're not all the same. If you need recommendations on who to look for, we can certainly post those and recommend some folks. Okay. If you say, I really need that extra push, I need other people around me to encourage me and build me up and make sure I'm coming and call me when I don't show up, which I would. So it definitely helps. Then you can look for a group class. There's lots of options. One of those is rock steady boxing. Okay. You may think boxing, hey, that sounds crazy intensive, and I could never do that. And you would be wrong. So if you want any information on that, you can go to our website, rsbdfw.com. But we have classes 3 days a week, and we have different levels. So we range from somebody who's running almost every day a week, that you would, just looking at, if you didn't know anything about them, could not tell they have Parkinson's, to people that are in a wheelchair and need people to help them move around. So we split those classes up so that it's not too slow for some folks, it's not too fast for others. And the good thing is we do a full assessment before you start. So if you have any other underlying issues, health issues, or orthopedic injuries, we always can modify what we're doing for you. Other options, the local YMCA, I know the Bedford YMCA in the area is about to start a pedaling for Parkinson's class. I'm not sure if they're doing that at other YMCAs around, but the Bedford YMCA would be able to tell you that, and we can post that information up on our site here in a little bit as well. But cycling has been found to be a really good activity for Parkinson's. Again, not a leisurely bike stroll around the neighborhood, more than likely, but think more of like a Sven class where they're really pushing you. You want to stay at that certain level of intensity. Pole walking. Do we know of any specific pole walking classes in the area?
Start one.
We can start one. So if you would like a pole walking class, in the area, which would be super fun, and is awesome for coordination and balance, etc., and getting outside and engaging in nature, let us know. Send us a shout out. Send us a message on Empower Parkinson's page. Yoga and Tai Chi are really good for balance and flexibility, which many of us, I'm sure, are deficient in with Parkinson's. So the YMCA, most local gyms have a yoga class, probably a Tai Chi class as well. Valerie is starting a Power Moves class at the Tarrant County Parkinson's Support Group on Mondays.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mondays?
Yep.
Okay, so Power Moves. So her classes will focus on, if you've been through power therapy one-on-one before, this will focus on a lot of the same things. So any of these classes, most of them are going to focus on the basics of what you need for Parkinson's. So if you're going to an exercise class and they're not working on big movements, they're not working on moving faster, they're not working on balance, they're not working on coordination, they're not challenging your brain at the same time, not making you think, strictly doing aerobics, then you're probably in the wrong class. So if you are and you don't know where to go for a class, send us a message and we'll help you out. We're definitely going to post a list by tomorrow of local classes that you can check out, okay? There are also some online programs. If you say, I just can't get out, I don't have anyone to give me a ride, it's just too expensive for me to go to a gym, there are some online options, and we will definitely post those as well. A lot of those, some of those are free, some of those are very, very low cost, like $5 a month, and they are led by experienced physical therapists and instructors, and so they're definitely what we want. They've got those big power, amplitude moves, and we will post those on the Empower Parkinson's page here in a little bit.
Okay, I'll summarize.
Okay.
All right, guys, in summary, remember, the sooner the better, but it's not too late. You want to work harder than your self-selected effort and intensity. You want progressive aerobic exercise, and you want skills training. You want to practice the skills that you don't want to lose. And it's a lifelong commitment to exercise and therapy. You're going to be going for the rest of your life between therapy and exercise maintenance programs. And I really want to thank you for coming today. It's just so much fun to have a way to reach you guys. I'm looking forward to reading your comments, and we can address some of those right now if you have any questions. We are going to be back here once a month, so I guess we're going to meet on the second Friday of every month at 4:30, right around happy hour time. And if that helps you remember, right in the middle of the month. So I hope you will join us.
Hi, Gary. Hi, Becky. Sorry.
That's okay. Hi, Gary. I just met you. Is it Becky Bowen?
Yeah.
Hi. Thanks for coming. Do we have any?
If you left a question and we didn't answer it, we apologize. We are not technology savvy yet, but we will be. We will be hosting informative videos every second Friday of the month. So tune in the second Friday in May. Let us know what you want to know more about. We're thinking of nutrition, mental health. A lot of people, that's probably the most questions we get is about nutrition and mental health issues. But let us know what else you're dying to know that nobody's addressed, and we will be happy to do it.
Sounds good. Do you want to answer any specific questions? I'll tell you what, if we don't get to your questions right now in this video, we will stay after and go through them and answer them.
So Lynn Johnson says, exercise just once a week will help?
According to the research, if you exercise once a week for 2.5 hours intensely, it should help, yes. But, I mean, I really think ideally you should be doing 20 to 30 minutes of exercise a day. That's my 2 cents.
Oh, thank you, Riley. So Riley's clarified the websites.
Oh, thank you, Riley.
Okay, so if you're looking for a big certified therapist, lsvtglobal.com.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. And power certified. So that website is www.pwr4, so the number 4, life.org. Excellent place to start. Awesome.
All right. Is that it?
Great.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
All right. Have a great day.